You're a female if you have a uterus. You're a male if you have
now you're getting into sticky territory.
Hello, and welcome to the Adam Show.
Is that the name of the show? The Adam Show.
The Adam Show.
What do you got for us today, Mal?
What do I got for you today, Mal? Ooh. Okay, let's see what I got.
What was that, dude?
Well, you called me Mal. I think so.
Maul?
That's what you just said.
I called you Mal. What do you got for us today, Mal?
Okay, it's
All right,
okay.
What's up, Mal?
And, when I'm not on Perez Hilton or watching Jeffree Star drama, I'm talking to my husband about things I want to learn about. And one of the top stories, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the last 3 days, there's been riots going on.
Teach us. What is it?
Okay, there's been riots going on. So
Where?
Here we go.
Where's that?
In Holland, in Amsterdam. Dutch, Holland.
It's impossible, dude. They don't riot over there.
They do.
They're all just high.
It's crazy.
They're just living the dream.
That's not
man.
true. And we were in Amsterdam.
They're just smoking weed and
we
chilling.
were in Amsterdam. It was one of the best trips, in the last year. It was awesome. The people are fantastic. We loved it. But what you need to know about the Dutch coronavirus riots.
Coronavirus riots. So they're rioting on the streets of Amsterdam.
Right. So for the last 3 days, forgive me my pronunciation, there have been riots, like physical riots, where they're destroying little shops.
Okay.
They're turning over cars. They're setting fires.
Okay.
So it's pretty intense. They said it's the most intense act of hatred.
The worst unrest in 4 decades.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's basically happening.
What's the lockdowns they have? What do they have?
Okay. Well, let me answer where the cities are right now. It's mainly right now in
Nobody knows any cities in the just say Amsterdam. Everybody knows that.
Maybe they're Europeans.
Rotterdam.
Hague.
Isn't that where that judge sits? The Hague.
That's it. You got it. You're on it. So what happened? So basically, they're trying to crack down on these new outbreaks of corona.
So they have people that you can't go out after 9 p.m.
Correct.
Basically, they're killing the party life, and people are like, "Fuck that shit. We want to go out," and they're like, "You can't go out," and they're like, "Tough shit. You got to stay in." And they're like, "Fuck
But the saddest thing is, we're going to go into this in detail because I know you're going to have a lot to say because I'm going to bring up several points right now. And one of the things so it doesn't say you can go out, but you have to have an official form to go out or you're going to be charged 95 euros, right? Okay. But it's not it's not the law at this moment. They're just trying to lower the risk.
Wait, it is the law if you're getting fined, right?
Again, it's an official form. You're at risk of receiving this. Again, it's not you understand? It's the wording, okay?
No, I don't understand.
Well, for me, what I'm hearing him say is, yes, those hours must carry an official form with the reason or risk. When you say or risk, it's not you will be fined.
Of course. No, but that's what all laws are. If I'm driving at 185 miles an hour, I am at risk of getting a speeding ticket.
If you get caught.
I don't automatically get a speeding. That's what they mean by at risk.
Okay, that's what.
So we're learning a lot today.
Okay, we're learning a lot today. Agree to disagree. That's my. I have that.
Yeah, of course, it's still of the prerogative of the cops.
So wait.
So that's actually the same here as in Costa Rica, right? Like for us to drive the car, right, on a day that it's not legal, like today, right? I have a car that ends in the number 3. So Tuesdays, you can't drive cars with number 3. I was at risk of getting a fine or actually having the car taken away from me if I was caught without a proper form.
Right. Which reading this, you think, okay. But actually, it happened to me. I did get my car removed from me.
That's right.
During the
beginning
of COVID.
It cost us what? $300 and we didn't have the car for 6 weeks.
No, 2 months.
2 months.
Over 2 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, that again
bullshit,
was me
dude.
looking at it going, oh, whatever, this isn't going to happen. And it did happen, it happened. So I'm kind of digressing here. I'm sorry not to, but let me just keep on this point. So you're going to get a kick out of this. As we go on, it's not anything to be happy about. However, I have this highlighted. Take a look at this. So, okay, watch. So when they're asked, the university, I can't pronounce the name, Leiden, they were interviewing this university professor. And anyway, they told the newspapers, the NRC, again, don't ask me what it is. It's a newspaper in the Netherlands, okay? Probably in the Netherlands Republic, whatever. I don't know, okay? That the protests are very diverse. Because, that was one of my things, who are these people, right? Who are these people? They're diverse and consist of young people. Well, wait for it. Football hooligans. Radical right groups, such as Pegida, and hippie, quote,
Bro,
hippie like unquote, groups who are critical of vaccinations.
This is like the most diverse group of protesters in the history of the world. Shouldn't we be celebrating this diversity?
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, it's definitely diverse. I had to actually look up.
Hippies, alt-right.
Well, Pegida. Did you know what Pegida is?
I have no idea.
Okay, so Pegida, again, pronunciation is going to be hard. We speak Spanish all day, and the English is hard sometimes. Patriotic Europeans against the Islamization of the Occident.
Right.
So this is
people who are against Islam.
Correct.
Or Islam moving into Europe.
Right.
Okay.
Moving into Europe.
Got it.
So basically that's the group. Okay. This is only 3 days it's been going on,
Gotcha.
but that's who they're like trying to like football hooligans, which that means, but it keeps going on and it's going to talk more about, it's still, they think it's the youth. It's the youth. It's the youth. So on this point,
dude, I don't know. Since this started, I just look at myself, man. If I was
that's
18
why I was going.
years
I knew you were
old-
going to go there. I knew you were going to go there.
If I was 18 years old and it was like, hey, guess what? Let's go out and cause some ruckus, maybe steal some stuff. You know, I'd be out there too. I mean, this is just this is what kids like to do. Like, especially when you've been locked in. Can you imagine being locked in?
No, I think that's where I wanted to go down this path with you, because we've talked about how damaging we think the COVID has been to our kids.
Oh.
But then we have family and friends who are like the opposite. They want to keep their friends at home. They don't want they want to keep their friends at home. They want to keep their kids at home.
Yep.
They don't want to use the bus. They don't want to use any, they don't want their kids exposed, but it's our opinion, and I'll just speak for myself, that it's so damaging. So when we talk about this age group, if this is, I don't think it's defined, but I mean, they're trying to say
but we're seeing this in the States too. It's young kids that are mainly protesting. This isn't 40-year-olds. This is mainly kids.
Right. I mean,
and by kids, I mean under 30. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's sad to me. It's sad because the next article I'm going to show you why.
Dude,
it's sad.
all I know is I would have been out there. I'd have been out there hucking rocks. It would have been amazing.
Yeah, but this is my.
All I can think of is Halloween and Mischief Night when we'd be out there hucking eggs, and I can just see myself.
Of course,
out there
but
hucking stuff.
let me show you the next article so you can understand the other side of this point. Because I agree, I hear you, I understand what you're saying. I think we are doing more damage to our children during COVID than. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what's going to happen, but it's so mentally and emotionally damaging for them. And we both agree to that. Other people might not agree with us, but it's just our personal take on it.
Did they give any numbers for like how many people were arrested and stuff?
Yeah, they did. 450 people approximately arrested in the last few days, mostly in Amsterdam, of course. So,
dude, you just look, man, you lock people in cages for, the cage being their apartment. Remember, these are like cities too. I mean, we saw it in Spain. Can you imagine? Spain had hardcore lockdowns for months, and you have like a 1-bedroom apartment with a 7-year-old kid or something. I mean, it's amazing people aren't just killing themselves.
I think the thing for me, I'll go into the next article in a minute. They lit supuestamente. I can't say that in English. Supuestamente. They lit supposedly. Thank you. They lit a coronavirus testing center. Was set on fire in the last 3 days.
Right.
Again. Supuestamente, right? You never take everything at face value.
Sure.
Well, I don't.
So let's go to the next article.
So why it goes into the opposite? Look at this. Well, can I play the video?
You can try. Go ahead.
Okay. It's so sad. Oh. So she was You can read it. Needs to stop. Please.
Alle andere ondernemers die hier nog van verschoond zijn, ik hoop dat het jullie niet overkomt en dat niemand dit
got it.
doen.
Basically, she goes through the video.
Now, where's this? What town's this in?
This town is in...
Same deal. So we're in the Netherlands still.
Yeah. It's still.
Rotterdam.
It's all the same. We're still in the Netherlands. We're still in the Netherlands. So it's, what I want...
So wait, are you saying this isn't a Black Lives Matter riot here?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It is not. It's actually not.
I'm joking at it, but I was like, look, certain riots are acceptable, right? And certain...
I
the
don't
whole
know.
grouping of the U.S. society, a certain grouping of riots are acceptable. I'm wondering if
that
it's
can
the
be
same
another
thing.
conversation because I don't agree with that.
So tell me, I don't agree with it either, but tell me what's going on. What's in the Netherlands? What are they feeling about the
Okay,
riots?
so when you see the video, you guys can go watch it, but it's pretty dramatic, and you're like watching it, oh my God, and I'm like, okay. I have a small shop. I have a small business. It's COVID. She's just struggling to survive. And at the later part of the video, she's talking about, she doesn't even know because it's looted. They've broken all the windows. Her neighbors have come to board the windows up, thank goodness. They broke all her, I don't know how to say that, the checkout machines.
Yeah.
All her computerized systems.
Yeah, she's ruined, basically.
Literally. Yeah. It's not even that, it's the fact that just angry. I mean, who knows what it is? I don't want to say that it's 20-something or teens. I don't want to say
matter,
that.
Dude.
It does
if
exactly.
If you're not protecting businesses, what's your job as the state? Your job as the state is to protect people. And if you can't protect people, why are you in existence?
But I think it's more, to me, it's more than the police job. It's a human it's an individual basic human respect thing. It's basic human respect. I mean, like the Dutch chief of police said to the riots no longer had anything to do with the basic right to demonstrate. Obviously, this is not about demonstrations. And I think that's why we're bringing up the controversial points of, we understand it, yet it's devastating to these,
Yeah, dude. I mean,
these are the few.
These people should be thrown in jail, man. Period.
And they are, but I mean, it's like the guy, like Rotterdam Mayor Ahmed. Pardon me, I can't read that. I can't. He sent a positive message to the shameless thieves who had caused the damage. Does it make you feel good that you've helped ruin your city?
Yeah.
To wake up with a bag full of stolen stuff beside you, and I disagree with that comment. I don't know what you think about that. To wake up with the reason I disagree with it, because I don't think it's about that. I think you just hit it on the nose.
Nah, it's just kids doing something because it's fun to do. I mean, it's not about, I don't think that, I mean, yeah, people will jump on board if like you can get free stuff. Of course, people will always do that. Kids especially. But until the society as a whole stands up and says this is completely unacceptable, it's not going to stop. I don't know. In the States, at least, that seems what seemed to be happening. Finally, it did stop in the States, basically. But, if the authorities aren't willing to shut it down, and there was no appetite to shut it down in the States for how many months?
The authorities are on top of it in the Netherlands. They're on top of it, but it's like you can't be everywhere in one place. It's not that the authorities are backing it up, but I mean, it's, I think it needs to be, from my opinion, to clarify. I think that when they say hippie and whatever, they're trying.
That was interesting. That's interesting.
I think
he threw the hippies in there.
Yeah, and the anti-vaxxers. So I don't like that necessarily because, my gut tells me that it's a bunch of dumb kids like we were when we were that age, out on Halloween night, trying to cause some ruckus.
Probably, but look, people
it's super aggressive.
People are upset about lockdowns. I mean, there are enough people.
I'm
who are
saying
upset.
yes, it's that, but upset. It's like they don't have an outlet for these emotions. They don't have an outlet for this anger, and
Look,
I don't.
People are starting to see these lockdowns are bullshit. I mean, it's just period. It's bullshit, dude. I don't know.
It's damaging.
It's bullshit. It's damaging for the amount of people who are dying, for entire society to be closed down. It's bullshit, and people are starting to, say that it's bullshit. I mean, we're 9 months in? Lockdowns were supposed to be happening for a couple weeks. It was bend the curve. Now it's just lock it down indefinitely. And I mean, they're saying already that coronavirus is not going away. This is not going away. This is going to be, there's going to be coronavirus forever, probably till we die. So are we going to lock down every season when there's a bad coronavirus season?
They are.
Fuck this shit, man.
Yeah, but they are. They're going to. I mean, this is the thing. And
maybe if we let them. Maybe if we let them.
I think that's the thing that I think was calling out to me was that they're placing. I mean, you can read it. It says hippie, it's anti-vaxxers. I feel like they're trying. It's a serious issue. Yes, I get it. They're writing. It's horrible. I have a small store. I would be devastated if they did that to me. Obviously. However, I understand their point. I understand if it is young people. I just don't like the way that they're twisting the news to say that they already have it hands down. I mean, they're not saying hands down, but pretty much hippie-like groups of, and PETA. I mean, and anti-vaxxers. I mean,
well, they try to, of course, anybody in power tries to make it as, these aren't serious people who are rioting. I mean, we're saying the same thing. It's probably kids, it's this and that, right? Because we recognize that probably are better ways of protesting, right? If you really wanted to get your point
exactly,
across,
and I guess my hackles is my word. Hackles up.
You got a lot of hackles
I
going
get
on.
hackles. I do. I get a lot of hackles.
Look, at the point at the end of the day is destruction of property is absolutely unacceptable. Period.
Correct.
Full stop.
But at the end of the day, for me, my hackles are up because they're trying to like twist this into something that's not of value when they're not really talking about the real issue. It's like burying
The
the
real
lockdown.
issue
They're
is
burying,
why are we in lockdown? What are we locking down?
Exactly.
Why? Yeah.
Why are we in lockdown? What can we do to establish other things for these people to do? And how can we make this better instead of just, this is what we do. We lock everyone down.
Follow the science, Molly. Follow the science.
Follow the science, as Fauci says.
The science says we shouldn't be locking anybody down. Everybody should be at the beach hanging out. Nobody's catching corona at the beach.
And they're not. That's true. So that was my...
That's what you got for me today?
That's what I got for you today. What do you got?
I got... what I have today is this executive order by Biden. So this was his first day in office. He signed a bunch of executive orders. I thought this was
I read that.
The most interesting executive order.
Tell me about it.
So this is the executive order on the prevention of to combat discrimination on the basis of sexual identity or sexual orientation. Mm-hmm. Now, sexual orientation it's already the law of the land, right? You can't not hire somebody because they're female, because they're gay, right? You couldn't do that's been the law for quite some time. Mm-hmm. They've put in their gender identity. And for the vast majority of this, I think my personal feeling is that most people are already on board. That's my personal feeling. So you can't not rent your apartment to a transgender person because they're transgender. Mm-hmm. You can't not hire somebody because they're transgender. Maybe this clarifies that. And if that does, I mean, I'm not sure. I read the whole thing. It doesn't really clarify that to my understanding. It just basically says that each department of the government must kind of enforce this executive order, which is, so I think that's what it's doing. And I'm on board with basically all of it. I don't think you should be able to not hire somebody because they're transgender. I don't think you should be able to not give them loans or rent them homes, so I'm pretty much completely on board with it. The one thing that I'm not completely on board with, because I believe in this little small sliver, I believe that gives transgender people more rights than any other person, is what has to do with Title IX. So are you familiar with what Title IX is?
Tell me again.
So Title IX is in relation to education. Any school that takes federal money, which is basically every college in America, you have to provide equal access for females and males. So the number of kind of scholarship money or sports that are available to females and males have to be basically the same.
Right.
Okay. So this is, I think was a very, very important ruling or law that went into effect in like the 70s, 1972, that gave women access to sports at a collegiate level. I mean, it was like, I looked up the numbers. It was like pre-Title IX, the number of women who played sports at the collegiate level was like 4% of women.
Wow.
Or the number of women in sports who played sports was like 4% of women. And afterwards, now it's like 40% of women. So unless
you're those famous people that just got put in prison because they're kids. Right? I forget. I can't even say their name. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Right. So, but for me, the thing that this does is basically say that for example, I look at it as the very simple example which occurred to me was Bruce Jenner. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's go back in time and think of Bruce Jenner as a 16-year-old boy.
Right.
Bruce Jenner is a fantastic, he's the best athlete in his high school. He is probably the best athlete in his entire state. And nationally, he's one of the best athletes in the entire country. Okay, Bruce Jenner. All right. Now we're going to imagine, this is a true story. He was, okay? But now we're going to imagine a 16 or a 17-year-old Bruce Jenner saying on his 17th birthday, actually, I am now Caitlyn Jenner. Mm-hmm. I'm transitioning to
Woman of the Year.
To female. I've been transgender. I'm coming out to you guys and letting you all know that I'm transgender and I'm transitioning into a woman. Okay. The hope of what Biden's doing, I think, is that we all then say, oh, that's cool. Like, we support you. And actually, I do support him. And I think you do too. Transitioning into Caitlyn, we're good. And I think a lot of Americans have already, in the past 5 years, partly because Bruce came out as Caitlyn, we all actually know what transgender is now.
I have transgender friends, I have gay life, but I mean, we're all totally in sync. You know why? Because last night I literally was on YouTube, and that's what they have this show on YouTube where like they put a random amount of like 15 or 20 people in a room, and then each person gets to guess certain things about the people. It's different subject every time. But the one I watched yesterday was the one on guess my sexual orientation.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I mean, plus then I watched a whole interview with Caitlyn Jenner and on a BBC that happened to be 3 years ago. It just was weird that we're actually, you brought this up, that I just watched this. So, and for me, the interesting thing is like you're talking about it, I'm glad that it's being brought up, but it's very, the respectful point is that you really, sex is not gender.
Okay, right.
Sex is not gender.
I think we're all starting to understand that now. To a degree.
Asexual, there's a whole bunch, right? And it's just people wanting to be respected for who they are. They, them, their, they have the pronouns and and we get that. And I totally understand and respect that. And that's all you want to be, is respectful to people and their identity.
Well, I think, yes, we do want to respect.
But defining that in a law, I don't know.
We want to respect it and give those people their due. Like they want to transition. Okay, great.
Or not. They want to be.
Or whatever. I mean, whatever. We're agreeing that it can be complicated.
Correct.
Right?
It is complicated.
But what I think this does, and I've read some stuff on it, and it does seem to be that, is taking that example of a 17-year-old Bruce Jenner who's already an elite male athlete.
Right.
The day he says, no, I'm female, what this now does is say, okay, now Bruce, who has become Caitlyn in that moment, is now Caitlyn. Caitlyn can now participate in female sports at the high school level and female sports at the collegiate level.
Is that what this is saying?
That's basically what this is saying. Yes,
because
that's what
I highly disagree with.
I agree. I
highly disagree with.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the people I know, transgender people, it's because it's not about that. It's just being treated with respect. But I mean, I can't speak for that environment, so please comment if we're wrong here. But I mean, it's hard because it's a sticky subject, and I don't want to be sticky, but there's not enough time to not be.
Well, I think this
clarify what I'm saying, because it's like you're a female if you have a uterus. You're a male if you have
now you're getting into sticky territory.
Sticky territory. I understand that, but I think you're a female when you have a uterus. You have a uterus. You have a uterus, you're a female. But your sexual orientation is none of my business. And if you want to be Caitlyn, that's who you are. You're she. You're Mrs. Caitlyn Jenner. And that's what I respect. And I'm going to call you that. But I don't believe that it's more, like, it's not even a moral issue or an ethical, maybe it's ethical. It's not moral to me at all. It's not right. You have an advantage. Like, it took me years being married to you to understand this. You have a genetic, like, talk to me about this 10 years ago. This would have been a knockdown, drag out fight because I wouldn't have seen it this way. But now, as I'm getting older, it's about, you have a physical advantage. That's all it is to me. It's a physical advantage. And of course, 10 years ago, I was like, I can kick your butt. La, 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 la. I can do anything. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. Yeah, I am. And I can. And many women can. And
all women and all men are exactly equal.
Yeah, I used to be on that mindset. But now I have a 14-year-old son, and I've been with this man for 21 years. So I'm a little more educated, I would say.
Well, I mean, look, this is the debate that's happening, right? People are debating this right now. This is debated. And people are saying, no. The moment Caitlyn Bruce decides to become Caitlyn, it's a she now, period, full stop. And their identity, what they've identified as, makes them so, okay? And my personal belief is, in this very specific case,
very specific,
as a society, we have to say no, because there's a direct negative event that's going to happen to a whole chain of people because of this.
Title IX is
For example, in this specific example of my imaginary Bruce Jenner at 17 years old who becomes Caitlyn at 17. Now at the high school level, everybody he competes with in track and field, he's going to be the most dominant female athlete in the history of track and field at the high school level. He's going to go to college. He's going to get a full scholarship somewhere, which bumps somebody out of that scholarship pool on the female side. So what's happened, and it has already happened, is we have basically males transitioning to females who were mediocre to average athletes as a male,
right,
who are now like world-class athletes as female. And I don't care what anybody says, this is absolutely true. They're taking spaces from female athletes to compete. And if you looked at this example of Caitlyn Jenner as a teenager going into their 20s, they're taking somebody's spot at the collegiate level for scholarships, right? If they were to then go to the Olympics or anything like that or compete on a international scale, they are then taking a spot from a female athlete. And it's just,
it is.
I mean, I hate to use the word unfair, but it's just not even, I mean.
No, I think it's hard for people to separate, but I think what you're trying to say is it just this specific, you're just making a Caitlyn Jenner athlete, making a very specific case. Now we can go down the rabbit hole, which I know you don't want to, of bathrooms and everything, because that was a whole nother show I watched the other night again.
That's even more crazy.
Right, but like it goes on that. I think people, like what we saw happen with the Dutch riots, it's not accurate. The news is I don't care what news. I don't care if you're right, left, in the middle. I don't care. It's not accurate to what the issue is. The issue is I want equal human rights. I'm transgender and I deserve it. You do. Absolutely.
But not more than equal.
Exactly.
Right.
Not more than equal, but equal rights. You should be treated with respect. You should be able to be called the pronouns that you want. You should be able to wear what you want. You should be able to use the women's bathroom without feeling awkward. And that was the other thing I watched the other day, which was very interesting to me, is I'm going to get it wrong. You can totally comment below, but like,
wrong.
I know, but there's a lot. Pansexual.
Put your comments below, and I am not going to read them.
Pansexual. There's different, but like people who don't find them, they don't define as male or female, right?
Yep.
And so I felt so bad for this girl who was talking, and she was like, I can't. Sorry, not girl. Them, they, there. You don't say girl. Or he, she. Okay. It's them there.
Well, look, I'm not going to get
because I learned.
Okay.
So them, they felt uncomfortable using either male or female. They're neither. They don't identify as either. So it puts this is what starts to confuse these types of laws. And yes, you deserve the right to be treated as equal. And you should be able to use whatever bathroom you feel comfortable with. And that's why this was a BBC show I was watching with Caitlyn Jenner years ago. It's an old one, as usual. I'm watching old stuff. Mm-hmm. However, the point was this: just make the bathroom public. Why do we need a male and a female? You can make individual. It goes down a whole rabbit hole. But the point is, you do deserve equal rights. Absolutely, I'm here for you. I've got your back. But equal rights is not more than. It's not more than, like you said. It's not more than.
Right.
That's my opinion. That's your opinion. I'm taking, I guess. How do you define that in a law?
Well, I think that's
without disrespecting the identity of the person.
It's not these things can take time to figure out, right? As a society, I think we often look for, oh no, we want the answer now. What's the answer, right? But how long did it take us to figure out like equal rights for gay people, right? That was a long time, right? Not fast enough, right? Certainly not fast enough if you were a gay person, right? But basically, I think we've all gotten to the point where, no, gay people basically have the same rights as everybody, and that's what we want, right? We want equal rights for everybody. And I think transgender has moved incredibly quickly. I mean, I think I've talked to you about this before. Like, how many people knew what transgender was 5 years? Like, even had a real idea about it 5 years? She did, okay. Right. I mean, you did
10 years, 15 years.
Great.
In the 90s, Boulder, Colorado.
So I think we've moved for a good portion of the population, we've moved to 0 to let's fully accept it. But we still have this, like what I would call even an overreaction of, okay, let's give them more rights than is even justified. And I think that is where, and we're still debating this, the idea of, okay, if they say they're a woman, then they get all the rights of a woman today, or do they get all the rights, meaning they're treated equally, but do they get to, in this very specific example, do they get to compete in
Do they get a scholarship
sports?
to take away from another young woman?
Do they get to compete in women's
That's
sports?
a slippery
And
slope.
I say no. That's my opinion currently. Maybe it will change at some point in the future, but as of right now, I don't think it's justified that they can be compete in women's sports. If they were born a genetic male, whatever that is, XY chromosome, whatever, I believe that they have to compete against males.
So
or you could do the kind of thing that nobody wants to talk about, is you create a third category. I don't think anybody really wants that, but I don't know. I thought this was an interesting stat. I'm going to pull this one up, just because I think, some people will say, "Oh, this is terrible. We haven't gone far enough." But look at this stat: the percentage of people, this was U.S., who say that homosexuals should be accepted by society. Okay. And they broke it down into Democrats and Republicans. Okay. In 1994, think about this. In 1994, only 54% of Democrats said homosexuals should be accepted by society. That's pretty incredible, right? 54%. Now, in 2017, it's 83%.
Now
right?
it's 2021.
But that's interesting to me because it's still only 83%. I would have thought it'd be like 99.9% of. So there's a whole section of society who isn't fully comfortable with
they need to die off.
homosexual. Okay, maybe. But I look at it as, wow, look at how positive this is. Look at the incredible movement forward.
And people say it's not. But
and
look at the number. The data shows that it could be.
I mean, look, we're of the mindset that, why isn't it 100%, right? But it's moving, and it's moving very rapidly. Okay, it's moved.
Could it have been better? Absolutely.
Could it have been faster? Yes. Absolutely. But the thing is that conservatives, or Republicans, are now at the exact same place that Democrats were in 1994. Which, to me, I'm like, that's incredible. That's incredible,
but it's like, oh my!
Why is it not faster?
Right.
I don't know. I saw it and I was
as a
like,
positive. Well, yeah, it could be
as
the
a
exact
positive.
opposite, and that would be. It's better to look at it as a positive, because I think that's also what news, media, and I think political parties, they focus too much on that kind of nonsense. They want very specific points instead of just like, you can't. There's some things that are gray. And you just, move forward. You need to move forward.
There's
focus
gray
on
here,
the pot.
and
Yeah,
we
can get
to,
better, and we don't have to focus on the negative. And it needs to be, and it's not all.
We got to, as a society, we got to debate this stuff out. It's not just like clear cut. Okay.
Right, and be open and willing to debate and discuss our ideas, and not have to agree to disagree, like we talked about before.
Telling you damn
I
crazy.
think. Oh, I was gonna say something like, it's kind of going down a rabbit hole. But what if, like, you can go? Okay, we're talking about a physical advantage. But what if this is a physical advantage? So is beauty.
Oh, 100%.
So
it's not fair. I think everybody should be made ugly.
No, I'm serious. Like, that's going to be an argument that's out there. Like, why you're born beauty, you're born beautiful, you're now transgender. Why is the advantage there?
I think
or you have plastic surgery and you have more advantage. So
what we did, as related to sports, was we created, as a society, we decided to create 2 separate sports leagues, females and males, because we know, everybody who's honest knows that there's a physical difference between males and females, period, full stop. And so we created, in order for women to be able to participate in sports, we created 2 perpendicular leagues, same.
Let's clarify, it's not because men are better. It's just physically.
No, men are better. Yeah, a lot better when it comes to certain sports. A lot better. Like powerlifting, like so much better, like infinitely better.
We'll have to look at stats on the next show.
Oh, the women are just as good. No, they're not.
I'm not saying just.
Dude, you could take.
I should have not said that. I did.
Take the WNBA. Okay, you take the All-Star team in the WNBA. They would lose to a decent high school basketball men's team. Period. They would. They're not that. They're good for women, but they're not nearly good enough for men. No, it's true, dude.
It is true, but it sounds fatal.
It doesn't sound, dude. You just got to be. That's
It's
the type of
honesty.
mentality that allows a 17-year-old Caitlyn Jenner to compete against females.
I understand that.
We have to
but
be
I think
honest with what's real.
We have to be honest, but there's a way. I know it's over the top, but there's a better way to talk. There's a better way to talk. There's a better way to talk about it. But I mean, you're right. Honesty needs to be honest. We need to be direct. We need to be forthright.
So stop saying that women are as good athletes as men. They're not.
You're right. I shouldn't say. That's true.
I mean, they may be in certain disciplines. I don't know what those necessarily are off the top of my head.
I guess it just
maybe in like
rubs me the wrong way.
Or
rubs me the wrong way because, I guess it's feminism and it's not feminism. I don't know what it is. It's being raised. I think it's also our generation because you see it. I think in the younger generations now that I'm working with, they're in their 20s. They're they know all the language. They know everything about everything.
Right.
And it's for them, it's just like our own son. Like, He doesn't point people out by color or background, ethnic background. He points them out by their name or by the color of their shirt, not by the color of their skin. It's just normal. His age group, they don't even pansexual, asexual. It's normal for them. So I think our generation, unfortunately, and our older generation need to die out because it needs to get to the point where we're just honest from day one.
Yeah, but you're not being honest right now. You're saying, no, women are as good at athletes.
I'm saying
it's just not true.
It's not
and it's
true.
not from
You're right.
lack of effort. It's not from brain capacity. It's their genetics are different in the same way that my genetics are different from LeBron James. No matter what I did, if I got the best training, the best teachers, and I worked harder than everybody in the world, I would not be able to compete with the LeBron James.
I agree with you, but all I'm saying is that for me, I'll speak for myself, where I was raised, I think it just gets the way it still upsets me, and that's why I say we need to die out.
Why can we
need to die out. My mentality needs to die out because the younger generation, this is not an issue for them. It makes sense to them. And why should I get my hackles up? Because I was raised getting my hack. I was raised like girls, boys, girls, boys. And I think when we go away, hopefully our kids and their kids, this is not going to exist in their lifestyle. They're going to be honest and upfront about these things, and it's going to be natural, and it's going to be. I hope that it's more.
I don't know, man. I think it's moved more towards everybody's equal in all ways.
No.
And I don't know why it's moved that way.
No. I agree with you, but I am against that. I am totally against that.
You weren't 2 seconds ago when you said females are just as good athletes as males.
I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to express.
What do you express?
Okay, how to say it. It's not a battle. It shouldn't be a battle. It shouldn't be a battle. You're talking about completely different genetics,
exactly.
The genetic advantages. It's just the truth. It's not a battle between men versus women.
100%.
And I don't believe feminism. That's a whole nother conversation.
Was the whole reason for having male and female sports was to separate it out, and then they compete and actually be as great as they possibly can.
Exactly.
Right? That was the whole idea of female sports, right? And we want females to play sports, right? Because it's good for everybody. Like playing sports is awesome.
One of the million things that everybody should have the opportunity to try out.
A million things?
Billion, whatever you want me to say. Everybody should have the right to try out and do whatever they want to do. If they work hard enough and they're able to do it, they should have it. But it should be with their genetic capability, and they should be in their genetic department. That sounds horrible. I don't know how to say it.
Department.
I don't know how to say it. Genetic department.
What department? Genetics. Floor 2.
Sounds horrible.
Females. Floor 3.
That's
males.
not how
fair.
No. It should be normal like that. Like asexual, pansexual, floor 1, floor 2.
So you're of the idea that we should like split it up into even more. So rather than have male and female athletics, you have male, female.
I don't have the answer for anything. I'm just saying, I just want the people that are going through this and that have had to fight like other peoples in the world, had to fight against something. I don't want them to suffer anymore. And everybody's gonna suffer. Everybody's going to struggle. Everybody's going to be. I wish it wouldn't happen, but if we could make it more acceptable in everyday life so that you are treated fairly, everybody is treated fairly, and it doesn't matter your sexual orientation, that would be what I would hope for. But again, not It shouldn't take away advantages or opportunities.
Shouldn't take away somebody else's opportunity.
Shouldn't take away someone else's opportunity. That's what I feel.
That's what we feel. Hit us up in the comments if you disagree. I will not read your comments now. No, we are open for discussion, and you tell us how we're wrong in the comments.
We're open to learning.
Always open to learning and growing and getting better. That's what we do, and that's what our society does, and free speech allows for that. So,
Woohoo.
God bless you. God bless America.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.